And it's one of those things I tell people, like, it's better when you don't really know what you're getting into. Because if I knew what I was really truly getting into, I probably would have shied away or, let fear take over. But I didn't really know a lot at that point. I just knew that I had set up this business and, I had learned everything I needed to know to start it. And I was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start it. And it took off.
My name is Misa Avalos, and I started a cleaning business back in 2018 with no clue on what I was doing. And now it's a 7-figure company. On this podcast, I sit down with other cleaning business owners and talk about the real journey. This is a Cleaning Journey podcast. Poiette, can you tell us who you are, where you're from, and what your cleaning business is all about?
Sure. So my name is Poiette Noel. I am the owner and founder of No More Dust Maid Services, which is a residential and commercial cleaning company that services the Washington, D.C. metro area. We have been in business for 5 lovely years. We launched 1 month before COVID-19 hit the world, and we
Wow.
took off. We took off right after that. And the business has grown rapidly. We have scaled. I believe we started with 2 cleaners, and now we have 11 teams total. I am originally from New York, born and raised. I moved down to the DC area in 2009 for a government job. So I had a federal career for 14 years. I left my full-time job in 2023, and I have been doing this full-time entrepreneurship for the last 2 years. It has been a very exciting journey, but also very challenging. But I would not change a thing. I don't regret anything, even just having the overlap of having a full-time job and starting the business. So many lessons learned from that, and it kind of like built the foundation that I really needed to have in place before going into full-time entrepreneurship. So 5 years in, and I'm happy where we are right now. We are experiencing some um growth as far as tapping into more service areas, more services. Right now, we perform regular maintenance cleanings, big cleaning, deep cleaning, moving cleanings, post-construction cleanings. We have hourly service for clients that don't want like their entire home cleaned. And then we offer commercial cleaning services, which right now we do like small office spaces, event space, hair salons, spaces like that maybe not more than like 2,000, 3,000 square feet. So that's mainly where we are now. I would say about 80% of our clients are recurring customers. So we have very strong relationships with our clients. Many of them have been customers for over 2 years now. Many of our clients come from referrals from other clients that have used us and really, love the company. And then outside of referrals, most of our clients come from just a simple Google search. They'll search cleaning service in my area, maid service near me, and we service about a 50-mile radius. So any zip codes that fall within that service area, if you search on Google and we have it listed, it'll, send that client to us. And because we've been in business for 5 years and we have like a strong SEO presence for like the last 3 years, we typically show up on the first Google page listings.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's the overall picture. Here we
Yeah.
are today. Yep.
Love it. Love it. I'm so stuck on you started your business 1 month before COVID hit.
Yes. And it's one of those things I tell people, like, it's better when you don't really know what you're getting into. Because if I knew what I was really truly getting into, I probably would have shied away or, let fear take over. But I didn't really know a lot at that point. I just knew that I had set up this business and, I had learned everything I needed to know to start it. And I was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start it. And it took off. And, I don't regret, like I said, I don't regret anything. And I would say the first 3 months or so, we were doing a lot of like disinfecting, sanitizing services. We had went online and like found all of like the EPA approved like disinfectant products and tried to order as many as we could. And then, people would just like the demand for cleaning services increased tremendously with both residential and commercial. Small business owners wanted their places cleaned. If clients would come in, this was at a time where you could only have maybe one person in the store and everyone had to like wait outside. And then you wanted to get the store disinfected once it closed. It was a wild time, but a good time for businesses.
For sure, especially in the cleaning area, in the cleaning
Yeah.
space, like that's where a lot of cleaning businesses came out,
Yeah. Yep.
created was during that time. They saw a need and they hopped in, and many of them are still in business and many of them didn't survive. So, but it looks like you survived. What did you do that made you different at that time, that made you still be in business to this day?
Sure. It's a couple things. I'll say I had a lot of friend and family support at the beginning because in the course that I took to launch the cleaning business, they hone in a lot on telling your inner circle about what you have going on. Tell them, have them spread the word. Like they don't necessarily have to use your services, but if they can share with others,
Mm.
that would help your business. So I did have a lot of like friend support that posted everything, they reposted anything I shared. They would tell anyone that they know that was looking for cleaning companies. Whenever someone posted on their Facebook, like they're looking for a cleaning company, one of my friends would comment, use this company. So I had a lot of support at the beginning, and I still do. So that helped us a lot, just kind of get like our initial like customer base. And then I always tell the story that the George Floyd murder that happened at the end of May kind of shifted our business a lot because this was around the time where everyone in multiple states were protesting. And there was a huge drive for support for Black owned businesses. So platforms like Google and Yelp allowed us to put a Black owned label on the business. So anyone who was specifically searching to patronize a Black-owned business, we would show up because we had that label, and that took us, to even more revenue because we were getting all of these bookings just because we were a Black-owned business surviving at that time.
That's amazing. I did not
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Like that's like one of the biggest, basis of how we grew so rapidly is that turning point in society in America where, everyone was protesting and there was just a huge shift in like patronizing Black owned businesses to kind of keep us afloat.
Just very interesting how things just kind of work together, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So you mentioned you had a government job. Was it 14 years?
Yes, I was in the federal government for 14 years. I started in 2009 and I left in 2023.
2023. What sparked that? Like, what made you start a cleaning business of all businesses that are available to start? Like, why cleaning? And then what sparked that interest of saying, you know what, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the 9 to 5. I'm ready to take my own route of a life, of a decision.
Yeah. As far as starting the cleaning business, I was in a Facebook group for actually a couple years before I even started the business. I was in a Facebook group that promoted starting service based businesses, and they had like a cohort that I think at the time it was called like Launch to 27, where they would teach you how to start a service based business within 27 days. So every day you learn something different from building your website, implementing a booking tool, how to market to clients, what platforms to use, how to get cleaners, how to hire cleaners, where to look for them, all of that, all of the tools that you basically need to like get the business off the ground. So I had like a WordPress site. I was using Launch 27 booking tool at the time. We had like a marketing platform as well. And then I was just using like Indeed and Craigslist for like hiring. And then to find clients, they taught us about using like Facebook groups, Thumbtack, all of those like freelancing sites to help you find cleaners. And so I did everything in the course that they tell you to do. And I had like a fully functional business by the end of January. So this was January 2020. You kind of start the new year like, I want to do something different this year. And that's why I had just paid attention to the group for the first time
Yeah.
in 2020. Even after I had set up everything, I still kind of sat on it for a couple weeks because I was just like, am I really doing this? And the main reason I chose cleaning because they also had like other service-based businesses like landscaping, wood detailing, laundry services. I chose cleaning because I felt like if I'm unable to find cleaners, I can do the cleaning. Like I know how to clean. I'm a good cleaner. I've always been very meticulous in my own home space. So, that was like gonna be my backup plan if I couldn't find cleaners. So yeah, like I said, I sat on it for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then finally, they kind of pushed us like, "Launch it. Go ahead, launch it. Tell your friends and family." And I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna put too much thought in it. I'm gonna just do it." And I did it. We launched February 29th, and then I think I got, like, my first booking on, like, March 3rd, and it was from a friend. She had an Airbnb, and she needed a, reliable cleaner to do her turnover. So, yeah, it took off. Like I said, it took off, and it's worked out. It hasn't been smooth, but it has been going along, and we've been growing at a rapid rate, and I am very happy with our growth.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, Poet, that you are an action taker. You
Yes,
know?
definitely.
That is that influences the business growth drastically, right? Depending on the action that you take, and it seems like you're an action taker. And were you always an action taker? Like, did you always think that you wanted to be a business owner?
To be honest, no, I didn't. Like, where I worked for the government, I had a very fulfilling and rewarding career. My mother was a business owner, and, like, I had experience and, understanding of what that life looked like. But I never really thought about it for my future. Because, like I said, I had a great government job. I loved what I did. I had jumped to different departments within my agency. I had, grew to different positions, so I was happy with my job initially, where I didn't feel like I needed to leave and become a full-time entrepreneur. What ended up shifting that is I ended up being in 2021, around 2021, 2022. I ended up getting a new supervisor, and I it changed into a very toxic work environment. And, I still kind of held on thinking like, okay, this will get better. It's change of management. This is one of the things that happens in the workplace. And it just got worse and worse and worse. So to the point where I was just kind of like, okay, maybe this is a sign that my future is much bigger than a government job. There's more for me outside of this government job. At the time, there wasn't really a lot of growth happening in my position. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is just a sign that it's time to move on. People always say, like, you got a good government job, you get comfortable. And I was very comfortable. I made a lot of money and I didn't have to like do anything crazy. Like, I was at a point in my career where I was considered like a subject matter expert. So I would advise others on, things that they should do, but I didn't really have to do a lot of work. You know what I mean? So I had reached that point in my career where my expertise is what made me a lot of money. So I was comfortable. But like I said, the toxic work environment just got worse and worse and worse. To the point where I started getting like physically sick. Anxiety was through the roof, and I travel a lot, and I remember landing back at the local airport near me, and my anxiety was like out of control. All I could think about is, what am I gonna open my laptop up to the next day when I go to work? And
Mm.
I'm like, I don't want to feel that way. You know what I mean? I'm coming from vacation. I had a great time with friends, and I feel horrible like returning to work. So I was like, I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks. Like, I'll figure it out. So
Wow.
literally I went back to work the next day and I put in my 2 weeks resignation, and I left 2 weeks later and I never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very
Very, very risky. I've always been a huge risk taker, but I've always been a huge risk taker, but I'm also like a planner and I'm realistic. So abruptly leaving my job was never ever in my plans or something that I thought about considering. But I felt like was pushed to the point where I had no choice. And I'm like, I have figured out every single thing that has happened in my life, and every setback, every curveball that life has thrown me. I figured it out and things worked out in my favor. So I'm sure I'll be able to figure this out now. And
yeah.
that's where I was, and I did it. And like I said, I have not looked back, and I'm so happy because, now the government is going through a lot of things, and, I definitely wouldn't have been happy in the current environment. So, and I'm happy with my life now and my freedom now and my schedule now, and like I said, no regrets.
Because that's a very tough thing to do, to leave a job that provides security. Uh,
Yes.
did you have kids at the time?
No, I don't have any children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, having that security of, like, if I leave this, like, I might not be able to live the same lifestyle that I'm living. That's what I would do. And you decided to go the hardest route, which is, hey, I'm just going to start a business and I'm going to go this right to live life in my own terms. And, it's like, I love what you said about you had a plan, right? You had a plan of what you needed to do. And that's what made you shift into that different route. Now that you've been in business and you've learned and you say, hey, I'm happy where I'm at now, not looking back. Like now I live life in my own terms. What have been some big wins that you've had now being, a business owner?
Yeah, I would say like a month after I left is when we hit our first 1 million mark in gross revenue. So that was like a huge win for us. And then hitting the 5-year mark this year was a huge win because most businesses don't make it to the 5-year mark.
Mm.
And I know several people that were in my cohort that had started with me that ended up, closing down after a year or two. So to have made it that far and still be successful and growing, that was huge for us. And, I was very, very happy about that. And then just like knowing, because, this society that we live in, they kind of teach you to just like go to school, get a good job, and that's like success. But when I learned how to like make my own money through my business, and then I got a bookkeeper that helped me start to like pay myself a salary and kind of I was able to obtain all of the things that I had with my government job. I was able to contribute to a 401k. I was able to get my own health insurance. Things that I didn't think were feasible at first and why, it sounds scary leaving a good job, but I eventually ended up setting up my own life with my own business, paying myself, a good salary. And now it's like I don't feel that like did I do the right thing? Like those self-doubt questions that I had initially. Like, did I make the right decision? Was it too abrupt? Like, what am I gonna do if I run out of money? What am I gonna do if business is slow? What am I gonna do if I have to shut down my business? Like, I don't have those thoughts as I did when I had first left the job. So I think that has been like a huge win. It's just being able to continue life and still get the access to things that I had when I had my good government job.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, it seems like you, through this program, the tools that you were doing for the 27 days, like, did they teach you like the bookkeeping, how to pay yourself?
Didn't. It was more so just kind of building the foundation of the company. They do start you off with like mindset. Like if you don't have the right mindset going into it, you're not going to survive because there's just going to be days where you have to make very difficult decisions and have to solve very difficult problems. And if you don't have that mindset right, then you may not be successful in the business. So I think that was one of the critical things that the course taught us. It's just like even when we started, like focus on getting income, focus on getting revenue, focus on getting customers, and then you can change things. You could get a new logo, you can get a new website. Focus on making money first. Once you make money, you could do whatever you want. You can grow the business, you can add whatever you want to it. So having just that mindset kept me focused on like in order for me to do ABC or whatever goals I set for myself year 1, year 2, year 3, like start making your money first and then you can really get whatever you need.
Yeah, but it always starts with mindset, being able
Yeah,
to, especially getting out of a job where you have that security,
yeah.
having that mindset of being able to say, hey, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make this work and getting through all of that. Cause there's obviously those daily battles that we live through that we talk ourselves out of doing things.
Yep,
Being
yep.
able to have action and get things done to get the business running. Mindset is the most important thing that needs to be done. And that is awesome that there's someone out there teaching people like, hey, this is where it starts. Don't worry about the logo. Don't worry about all that stuff. Like, first make some money and then you can figure it out. Cause I did the complete opposite. Was all about like my logo needs to look good. I need to have the uniforms. I need to have the colors. I need to have all of these things, and then I'm gonna launch it. I wasted a couple months, uh,
Yeah.
definitely doing building the website and so on and so forth. So it's if I can start over again, I would say, hey, go with your mindset first, get that ready, make some
Mhm.
money, and then you can figure it out little by little.
Oh, yep.
If you can go back to those early days, like You know, what was the one thing you wish you would have known before you started?
I would say I wish I knew a lot more about taxes, and that's why.
Like, how so? Like, what about taxes?
Yeah, so just like on how much taxes were going to be required, like we don't have like cleaning companies are not required to charge sales tax here. So it's like ideally now that I've been in the business for 5 years, I have where you if we make X amount of money per week, I know to set aside X amount for taxes. So just kind of navigating how much taxes I would owe at the end of the year, especially the more money we made. Because, when you have a job, like, taxes are automatically taken out of your check, like, that's not something that crosses your mind. But for us, just, like, learning taxes, bookkeeping, like, I used to prior to me getting a bookkeeper, I used to have, like, an Excel spreadsheet where I would track, like, my expenses, our revenue, what our monthly any, like, monthly subscriptions we had, any, like, one-time expenses, just to kinda, like, see, like, what my profit was at the end of each month. Very, very basic tracking. But then, like, once you get, like, a bookkeeper, that's when you start learning, like, we can get this deduction if we do this, and if we have this set up like this, we can get, this deduction, or even just when I switched to being an S corp, like, that was, like, a learning shift for me. I had learned that from my tax accountant that, I would be taxed less if we switched to a S corp, and then that's when I started paying myself a salary. I didn't really know much about any of that. Like, I thought, like, I could just like, if I made $10,000 this week, then I could just pay myself $2,000, right? So I'm thinking that at the beginning of the business, but it's like once I pulled in the right people and the right team, that's when I learned, like, okay, you need to set up like a salary where you get paid, this just like you have in a job in the real world. You have your salary that you get X amount, for X amount of hours a week kind of thing. And it kind of just organized us better financially. So there's like no surprises for me or no big tax bills now at the end of the year, because I wasn't aware of something. So that's something I wish I just educated myself a little bit more on at the beginning, and just maybe taking some courses, or I felt like I could have afforded a bookkeeper at that point. I just didn't know that I needed a bookkeeper. So I think that's something that is very important for like business owners that are bringing in a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or have any type of like service or product based business where they're bringing in a lot of money is like getting a bookkeeper right away to help you with all of those things.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Being able to start a business doing the right things, whether you're making $15, $10,000 a week, starting the things, doing the right things from the start will set you up for better success, you know. And by this, I mean, I'm just highlighting what you said because I totally agree with like the bookkeeping thing. Like if it's something that you can track by yourself, great. Until a certain point where you hire someone else to
Right.
do it for you. But being able to track, being able to have your books ready to go before taxes so you don't get any surprises is always a huge must. Plus your P&Ls tell you where you're spending money,
Yeah, exactly.
your payroll costs, and all of these costs. So like P&Ls are very important from the start. If you can learn that, that
Yeah.
sets you up for success, right? Like, do you currently pay yourself? So now that you've learned, you wish you would have known that. Like, how do you pay yourself now? Like, do you write yourself checks? Do you do payroll? Like, how would you set yourself up now, knowing not how would you have set yourself up before what you're doing now?
Probably would have started paying myself way earlier. It's like I was almost like giving my business like free labor. I probably would have gave myself a salary from the beginning because we were making enough money. And like I said, I just didn't know that I had that option. So now it's like, like I pay myself like a 40-hour work week. So it's like I have an hourly rate and we clock in 40 hours a week. That's is through payroll, system. So that's how I do it now, and, my goal has always been to eventually duplicate my government salary. Hopefully, I can get that maybe in the next 2 years or so. But being that now that, like, my business pays a lot of my, expenses, my health insurance and stuff like that, like, I don't have to, like, worry about where am I gonna find money for these things? Like, it takes care of a lot of my expenses. Like, our vehicles under my business and, all that stuff. 401k contributes to from my business. So just, like, learning that, I probably would have started like, knowing what I know now with what I what are our options for me, I would have started that earlier in the business versus just, running, 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 bringing in more revenue, but not actually, like, making plans or doing anything with it.
Yeah. Well, what were you doing with that revenue?
I was just, like, holding on to it,
Yeah.
really. Our expenses were very low in the beginning. I didn't have, like, SEO at the time, like, I didn't have virtual assistants at the time, like, now I have 2. So it's, like, additional people that I'm paying outside of, like, the cleaners that make the actual money for us. I just have a lot more automation tools, a lot more things that I'm using, like ChatGPT, AI, and Go High Level, and like I said, we have a SEO team that does all of our website stuff for us monthly. I didn't have all of those initial expenses, so our expenses were very low, so everything was just like a profit at that point. Now it's like we still have a profit, but it's not as high as it was at the beginning,
Yeah.
but we have a lot more things in place, and like I said, I can have 2 VAs run the business for me, where before I was running everything myself. I was
Yeah.
answering calls, taking customer inquiries, like, all day, every day, I was doing everything, so now we're in a place where we can actually afford to have staff do all of that stuff for us while I focus on, like, business development and contracts and stuff like that.
Sounds like we had a very similar situation. I didn't pay myself as a lot at all in the beginning. I mean, I was paying myself, I think, like $600 a month for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's crazy, like, when you say it out loud, I'm just like, "Why was I doing that?" Like,
yeah. Well, my wife was like, okay, no, like she does our books and our accounting side. So she's like, you could pay yourself more. And I'm like, I know, but like, I just want to put it back into the
yeah,
business. Or it felt like I was taking away from the business.
exactly.
But she's like, but it's your business. Like you're working hard for it. You need to give yourself a salary.
Yep, and you're working hours, like, I have
Oh, yeah.
much better boundaries now as far as, like, how many hours I work a day, but initially, I was, like, working around the clock, like, I would respond to emails at, like, 11 p.m. at night, I'd be taking phone calls all times of the day, like, that was me working insane 12, 13 hours a day, like, for what? You don't need to do that once you really establish, like, your reputation,
Yeah,
um
for sure.
yeah, so now it's like we have, like, set business hours and, if I need to take a day off, I can do that, and it's like we have automation in place after, like, when business hours close, these are the things that go into place now that can address customer inquiries, so, and we didn't have that at the beginning, so I was just kinda all over the place and working all of these hours and exhausted, and then it's just like, I'm not even paying myself anything, like, that's crazy.
You know,
But
it's
lesson learned.
definitely. And those are the things we need to be like grateful for, I think, like because it creates who we are now and we can share that type of information with others. We can share the journey. That's what we're doing now. Like, it's very important to know that like every decision we make will teach us something down
Yes.
the road, right? And yeah, like working all these hours and text messaging clients at 8 o'clock at night because they need to reschedule or stuff like that. Like, oh my goodness, I'm just going back. I'm just going back into those days where I was texting and I was like, wait a minute, a mentor told me at that time was like, no, you have business hours. Like you can't be answering the phone after that because then you're distracted. You're not with your family, you're not with your spouse,
Exactly.
your kids. And it's like you need to put those boundaries or not, you're gonna get burned out.
Yep.
So it is important. Like that client can wait.
Yep.
That's what he told me is like that client can wait. Like if that client needed to cancel, they could have canceled during business hours.
Right, absolutely.
Right, and it's like but it's because and I would like to hear, your end of it, like, why do you think, we get to that point? It's like, for me, is I think that it's like we feel like no one can really do it better than us in a sense, and it's like if we don't do it now, like, who else is going to do it? We don't really realize that, like, we start being employees to our own business instead of being owners. But, like,
Yes, yes.
how did you have that like, when did you have that shift? And, like, what would you suggest for someone that's, like, still in this, like employee mindset in the sense,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Because there's a lot of people that are owning businesses, but they're employees, they have a job, right? So like, what would you say to someone like that that's probably stuck in that type of mindset? Hey, real quick, before we dive back in, if you're a cleaning business owner stuck in the day to day, doing the cleaning, handling the calls, and working crazy hours, I want you to know that there's a better way. I help cleaning business owners just like you build systems, hire right, and understand their numbers. If that sounds like what you need, go to the link in the description and book a free strategy call with me. Don't keep doing it alone. Let's build something better together.
Yeah, so I would say, I guess initially at the beginning of the business, I was more focused on pleasing every customer that we had, making sure every customer was happy, and doing that by any means necessary, even if it meant I was arguing with someone on like Sunday at, when we were closed. I think you get to a point where you know that you have built a great relationship and your customer, like the right customer for you, is going to understand business hours, is going to understand and respect your policies. So I got to a point, I would say probably around 2023, the same year that I left my job, where I'm like, I don't have to like give my all to every single customer that comes our way. Like either you want to use our business or you don't. Not every customer is a good customer. Not every customer is our customer.
Love
And
that.
I'm okay with that. Like even customers that whine about our prices, it's like I have a list where I'm like, okay, well, I can recommend another company for you that's within your budget. Like I don't want that type of customer that's whining about prices. And we have so many great customers that pay full price that I don't have to worry about anybody else anymore.
Mm,
I think at the beginning I was very scared about getting bad reviews if I didn't make the customer happy. And now I'm like, we have so many five-star reviews that even if I get a one star today, it doesn't shift our rating on Google. So you get to the point where you kind of become a little like cocky. Like, I know the business that I've established, I know the quality, I know what we're giving people, and anyone who is not in alignment with that, like they can go elsewhere. There's thousands of cleaning companies in the DC area. So you don't have to use us. You don't have to, continue your service with us. If we're not making you happy, you're not satisfied with how we do things, that is a-okay with me. And I didn't have that mindset at the beginning, but I have it now because I know that we have established a great service that people love. People even sometimes say, I went and tried another company and I regret it and I had to come back to you guys right away. And it's like
love it.
I love that they got a chance to see, what else was out there. But, I always tell new business owners and business owners that are growing their business is that when you establish a product or service so great, like you have to have that confidence in yourself that the right customer is going to be in alignment and they're going to follow your policies, they're going to follow your rules, they're going to treat you right. The wrong customer that's gonna argue your prices and give you a hard time and try to get you to do things outside of your policies, that's not the customer for you, and you don't have to focus on them. It's like, the saying, like, all money is not good money. When you learn to accept that in your business, then you can focus on your good customers and not have to worry about those bad customers.
Love that.
Yes.
My
That's
God.
huge. Like, yeah, a lot of people, it takes them a while to come to that, but now I'm like, "Okay, ma'am, like, you can call this number for
Yeah.
this company." Like, I'm not going back and forth with anyone because I have too many customers that love us and pay full price no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't need these people saying, I only wanna pay $100. Can we negotiate?" Our prices are non-negotiable. We don't negotiate anything. But
Mm,
you have to build that reputation to get there, or you can't start your business off like that.
yeah.
But we built that reputation, and now that we have it, like, I can, stand firm on everything that we're providing and the quality of our services and stand by the prices of our services.
Yeah. That's definitely when you've reached a certain point in your business where you can start really like making those types of that having that type of confidence to be able to decide, right? Like, because you definitely like that's that type of mindset means that you don't have a lead problem.
Right.
Like, right, you have enough leads where you can just be like, yes, no,
Mhm.
no, right? You have qualified questions that like really will identify your ideal client. Those are the people you're like, "Oh my god, like, we want you as a client and you make that work versus no, you're definitely not the type of person that we're looking for, so you don't service them, right? So like in the beginning though, like I'm just listening to like someone that's like, well, yeah, Poet, now that you have that confidence and you can make those decisions, like I can't do that right now in my business. I don't have enough business coming in and I kind of have to take every client that's coming in. Like what type of advice would you give to someone like that to get into the right mindset of where they're currently at and where they can be when, at some point?
Yeah, and I understand it wholeheartedly. When you're in the beginning, you just want all the customers in the world, but you will find that all the customers are not worth it. So it's like I find that, those customers that want to haggle you down for like, or I only want to pay 150 and you work something out with them, whether you give them a coupon or something, and the house is a disaster and they're not happy with the cleaning, it's like I should have just said no from the beginning. So now not only did I lose money, but I've pretty much lost my like sanity today because of having to go back and forth with this customer. My cleaners are not happy. And that's a whole nother part of running a business is making sure your staff is happy. Like that's very critical in running a business. So it's like you have to decide like what's worth me fighting over versus this is not worth the fight. So a client that's gonna haggle you, if your service is, say, $500 and they only wanna pay $300, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. It's not gonna that money is not gonna bring you it's not gonna take your business to, like, 6 or 7 figures. It's just
Yeah.
gonna piss you off, really. It's gonna stress you out and piss you off. So, it's you got you gotta decide, like, do I
Yeah.
want that mental, like, anguish, or do I wanna just enjoy the rest of my day and sacrifice $300. It's not worth it. And it's like for every bad customer that you say no to, there will be a great customer that will come your way. Like you just have to have that faith in it. And like I said, do the work to make sure you have an amazing product or service where it speaks for itself. And people see you, like they see you building. You show, people post on social media, you show what you're doing, you show, you have testimonials that speak to, the quality of your service that you offer. Those good customers will come and you don't have to just take everyone that comes your way.
Love it. Yeah, because it does just build stress.
Yes. Yeah, I remember being very stressed like the first like 2 years, just like I said, trying to please everybody, always worried about getting a bad review, and I realized it's like those customers that I worked a deal out with, like they ended up giving us a bad review anyway. So what did I really get out of a situation? Nothing. Less money than I was supposed to get, stress, and a bad review. So if I said no from the beginning, I wouldn't have had to deal with any of that. But yeah, like it takes a couple of those lessons for you to get to that point where you're like, you know what? No. Even sometimes I see like my VA talking to somebody for like 16, 17 minutes, and I'm like, this phone call shouldn't go this long. And when I read the transcript, I can see the person going back and forth, and she's like, well, do you want me to call them back? And I'm like, nope, because I can already tell what type of customer they are. And the cleaners are gonna get there, and the customer is gonna be asking for all types of things that we don't offer. It's gonna be a disaster. So, no, thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've missed birthdays. I've missed things to be able to make other people happy. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, you feel like, man, like this is what business really is. Like,
Yeah,
and this is hard, but I love that the fact that you just shared that your ideal client is a client that you need to spend time with.
right,
Pretty much what it is, right? Like, why spend time trying to make someone happy for $200 profit?
right,
That, right? When you can spend your time, have your sanity, like you said, and then be able to focus on that ideal client and really doing something that's going to grow your business and attract those people.
right,
Right? So it's like it's really thinking of that the thinking of business as a marathon,
right,
right? Like you think of a business as a marathon, like it's going to take steps, it's going to take time. And I think a lot of cleaning business owners like really think of like, well, hey, I don't have enough leads. Like, how am I going to get leads? How am I going to get business? How am I going to get my employees to work? Or, you know, and it's like those are just I think those are just things that like people hold on to that really stop them from like be creative, right? Like you can go out there and do some networking events. You can do what you were saying is like you can call everybody or send a video, everybody all in your contacts and say, "Hey, I'm starting a business. Hey, I'm looking for, some referrals, some friends that can help." There's a lot of ways to really find that ideal client, instead of trying to make the client that's not for you happy. So what are the one or two systems that change everything about your business?
Two systems. That's a good one. I would say definitely like automation. So right now we have basically if a customer comes to our website and we capture that lead, we have a follow-up process for them where we follow up. If they leave the website, they haven't booked a cleaning, we have a follow-up process to get them to book a cleaning eventually. And then for customers that have had a cleaning, we have a follow-up process after their cleaning. Well, before the cleaning, we kinda send, like, the reminders and, confirmation, and we'll now have, like, our VA call them to make sure that they book the right service, try to upsell some services if they don't have, like, any, like, add-ons, like, inside the refrigerator or inside the oven. We'll try to upsell those, and then after their cleaning, we'll follow up with them. And then we have a whole process to try to convert them to a recurring client, which is pretty successful most of the time because most of them are blown away by the first cleaning that they're like, okay, like I need to get this on my schedule at least every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks or whatever the case may be. So I would say our automated like follow up systems that keep us kind of like on the heels of the customer. Like,
Yeah.
hey, like I know you like that cleaning. Like, wouldn't you like to get it once a month for at a discounted rate or, something like that. Hey, you visit our website. We currently have this deal going on right now. These are our services. Check out our 5-star reviews. So we're kind of like buzzing in their ear constantly after they visit our website if they don't book a service, and trying them to get them to eventually book one. And that's pretty successful most of the time as well. So I would say those like systems in place we didn't initially have like the first 2 years or so. But
Yeah.
now that I have staff to do it, and I have the tools to do it, it runs pretty smoothly and we don't have to do much manual anything. Even like getting reviews, that's all automated as well. So I would
And
say
what
go ahead.
I was going to say, what platforms do you use for that?
So we for getting reviews, we use Nice Job. It has like I think like a 3 follow-up review requests within like 6 month time period. And then our booking system, we use Booking Koala. So that allows us to send those reminder emails and then follow up after for them to rate the actual cleaner as well. And then we have our open phone system. That's the phone system we use. So we send a lot of like our how did your cleaning go? This is the price if you'd like to schedule to, or to a recurring customer. If you did weekly, it would cost this much. So we have a whole price list for them based on whatever they initially booked. So yeah, Booking Koala, Open Phone, Nice Job, and then we also use Go High Level for some like follow up marketing emails.
Awesome.
Yeah,
There's definitely an army of tools to be able to make your business function
yeah,
without having to do a lot of manual stuff.
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, those are definitely good platforms to check out. Definitely wherever you are in your business, like definitely like Booking Koala and all of these other areas so that the business can be running without you having to manually do all of that stuff. So
yeah.
that's great. So I wanted to get to, and I'm gonna put this, Poya, I'm gonna tell my team that we're gonna put the systems question, a little bit later down the conversation because I think we were really well going with the mindset
Yeah.
of the choosing the right ideal client, right? So I want to now start talking about like, what does your business look like today? Like I want us to go with the, hey, this is the ideal client that we were choosing at the time. And then going into, well, how does your business look like today? And let's start highlighting the mindset of that ideal client and what's something that you're proud of that you've learned along the way.
So today I would say it's a very self-sufficient business. Like I said, 80% of our customers are recurring customers. They know how we operate, they know they have their cleaners at the same cleaners at cleaning teams that they use. They're comfortable and they're happy with the service. So they have recurring service and that kind of is one of I feel like the biggest goals for most cleaning companies is to have that X amount of revenue come from recurring customers. So you know that if I don't get any new customers this month, I still make X amount of money because I have this core group of customers that use us every month. So that's where we are right now, kind of, maintaining. I would say we do get about maybe 10 to 15 new customers every couple weeks or so. But mostly our roster is about 70 or 80 clients a month that are recurring. And we have, like I said, we have a lot of automation in place. So I don't have to worry about like reaching out to clients or talking to clients specifically. They're already receiving that automated correspondence where they can like reply to, or they have their online portal. Our booking tool also comes with like a customer online portal where they can go online, schedule, they can cancel, they can schedule a new cleaning. So it's very self-sufficient where they don't really need us a lot anymore. So that's kind of where we are. I am my next steps like are 1 year, 6 month, 1 year, 5 year goals is to expand our services. So right now we for residential, we're only doing like house cleaning, but I would like to add like power washing, exterior window cleaning. That's a request that comes up all of the time. Some type of laundry service that maybe we can like outsource because a lot of customers want laundry. We don't, given the amount of time we're in the home, we can't stay with you like doing 4 or 5 loads of laundry every day.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. It's like we're considering new services. We're considering new service areas. Because now that like we have everything kind of running on its own, like a well-oiled machine, we have the bandwidth to expand. And it's like we have the bandwidth to kind of like tap into different areas so that we can get more revenue, business revenue, with additional services and additional service areas.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we are right now. I am also trying to completely remove myself from the business. That's more of like I guess 2 year goal, I would say. I still do a good amount of work, but I eventually hope to hire like a full-time salaried employee that can be like an operations manager and essentially do what I'm doing now. Like if I have to do a walkthrough for a commercial site, if I have to submit bids for like government contracts, like this person would take care of that like big stuff to grow the business. So that is a maybe a 2 year goal for me. Hopefully sooner than later. But that's kind of where we are. That's what business looks like right now. I'm happy with the customers that we have. We don't get too many like bad customers. I always tell people like 98% of my clients are amazing customers. They're very kind and professional. They're very appreciative of our services and we are very appreciative of their business. Every now and then it's like that 2% that just keeps disregarding policies or just canceling or constantly rescheduling. But we kind of handle that on a case by case basis. But like I said, majority of our clients are amazing people. So that's kind of where we are now and I'm happy with that. And also one thing that I forgot to talk about when we were discussing like just mindset and like the right client versus the wrong client, our prices are on the higher end. So that attracts, well, it repels a certain customer and it attracts another type of customer. It attracts the customer that is willing to pay the price for premium services. The
Mhm.
customer that money is not an issue, they just wanna outsource this and they want us to do it well. So as long as we do it well, they don't mind whatever the price is.
Right.
And that's the type of our ideal customer and the type of customer that we seek out. So for business owners starting out, it's always one of my biggest advice is like when you have cheap prices, you're going to get the most problematic customers. And it's okay if your prices are high. Like the right people will pay for it. And the good thing is that we're in a metro area where the salaries are high. So people don't mind paying for things. They already pay a lot for groceries and, Ubers and, all types of things that they outsource. So, technically cleaning services is a luxury, service, right? Like if you don't have money, 9 times out of 10 you're not hiring someone to clean your house. You're going to clean it yourself. So people have the money to spend and it's like raise your prices so that you can attract that quality customer that's willing to pay premium prices. And 9 times out of 10, those customers, they won't bother you at all because they don't want to be bothered. They just want to pay for something and go about their day. They work a lot of hours, they work very hard. So, cleaning their house is the last thing they want to do. So if someone else could do it for them, they're like, yeah, I'll pay whatever it costs.
Yeah.
And that's the ideal customer that you want to keep around.
Well, for sure. I love that. That's some great that's you packed in a lot of great stuff in there. And I want to highlight the customer experience a little bit. That's something that we had talked about before the our call today, that it's something that you feel like you guys are doing really well. So like what can you share with us about like the customer experience side of how you take a customer from A to Z?
Sure. So, okay. So, from the moment that we engage with the customer, we're making sure that they understand the services that we offer and try to kind of fit them with what they best need. So, they'll tell us what exactly they need and we'll make that recommendation for them. A lot of our customers now, honestly, they book online and they find that the booking form is pretty straightforward. But we have a cleaning checklist that tells them what exactly comes in the cleaning that they have booked. We send them a how to prepare for your appointment website that gives them like some tips and tools about, if you have a pet, you probably should keep them caged up somewhere and not have them running around while the cleaners are vacuuming. Tips like that. If you have a lot of clutter, consider adding organizing. Like if there's a lot of excessive dust and debris, consider adding heavy duty. Like all of these tips and tools so that you are 100% prepared for your cleaning. So people like transparency. Also, our prices, you can go online and get a quote, right then and there on the website. You don't even have to speak to someone. You just input like your parameters, the type of cleaning you want, and the price will show up right there. So that transparency is critical because no one wants to jump through hoops just to find out how much the cleaning is going to cost. So
Mm.
that's like the initial upfront part. And then they book. Once they book, they'll get a confirmation that shows exactly what they're receiving. Like I said, a copy of our checklist, how to prepare for their appointment. Then they get a automated text 4 days before their service and 2 days before their service. Initially, I thought like, oh, this is a lot of reminders, but people forget. They forget. So people appreciate the reminders and so they'll get the 4 day and 2 day. And then the day of their cleaning, 30 minutes before their appointment, we'll text them to let them know the exact time that the cleaners will arrive. So, and then if they have like instructions in the booking, like, oh, the door is unlocked or the keys under the mat, we'll relay that to the cleaner. So they have that that day of cleaning communication, which they appreciate. And then once the cleaning is finished, their booking is automatically charged. We only do credit cards on hold, so no cash exchange or any of that. So they'll get a receipt after the booking is charged at the end of the day. And that's when they'll get their follow up email. How did everything go? If you had any issues, please contact us right away. So we have a reclaim policy to return back within 72 hours if we miss anything. And then even after the reclean, if still not satisfied, we have 100% guarantee we'll give you some type of refund based on whatever the issue was. So that entire process from beginning to end, it makes feel customers feel like they can trust us because they know exactly what they're getting. They know exactly what the price is. They know exactly when we'll arrive. Like there's no questions for them. Because even if, like, you think about getting like cable installed, they'll say, "Oh, we're coming between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m." and they show up at 5:30. And I'm like, how is this okay? You know what I mean? So we make sure we have that constant communication and transparency. And like customers say that in their reviews. They're like, this is the best communication I've ever had. Like I feel like I can trust them. Customers can feel like they can leave the house and leave a key or something because they know exactly what they're gonna get. And I think that experience is set up aside from a lot of other cleaning companies in the area that don't have any of those things in place. A lot of companies are still accepting like Cash App and Zelle for payment, and clients may not even know when their booking is scheduled for. There's no reminders or anything like that, and they don't know what they're getting. There's no checklist. It's just a cleaning lady that shows up and cleans, and that's it. So that whole robust experience I think also attracts the type of customer that is going to pay a lot more, which is the type of customer that we want.
Yes. No, everything you said was so important. You build your business around how you would like to be serviced by another
Yes,
company, right?
exactly.
Reminders. Hey, if you say you're gonna show up at 10, show up at 10.
Right.
Oh, if I would suggest to give always buffers. We give buffers between we'll arrive between 10 to
Yeah.
10:30. Because my cleaners wanna stop and get something to drink or something, but, definitely communication, it creates the experience for the customer. And I teach my teams over the phone all the time. Like, we are here to provide an experience, and the experience is the service of cleaning. So, from the beginning, where you say hello, to the qualified questions, to how you end the call, to then how they get notified about the quote, when they need to sign the quote, and then how we need to get the payment, card on file, like everything is to make their life easier, to be convenient, but also to make sure that at the end they're just like, "Oh my God, like this was a very smooth experience." Like I called, they showed up, they charged my card, and now I got a quote about reoccurring services, and these are the days that I have available to choose. So
Yes. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you just shared that you said how to prepare before we arrive. And then the checklist. Do you send those things over email, text? How do you do that?
So both. So it comes in the confirmation email. The checklist is a link on our website, as well as the how to prepare for your appointment, so they could easily read it on their phones or computers, whatever they're using. And then it's also in the reminder. It's in our reminder text and emails, like, "Hey, don't forget to read your how to. We are scheduled to out this date between this time and this time. Don't forget to read your how to prepare for your appointment." So no one can say they didn't know about this, they didn't see this, because you're really getting it 3 different instances. Your confirmation email, and then the 4-day reminder, and the 2-day reminder. So, like I said, we make sure all of the information is out there, you don't have to guess anything, and it gives you all of those tools and tips for how to prepare the home, so there's no surprises. Because customers across the board in any industry do not like when you quote them one price, and then you get there and it's like all of a sudden it's like $700 more. Right? So it's like that how to prepare for your appointment prevents that surprise. So you know that if there's something in your house that's on that how to prepare for your appointment that you need to make an add-on, then you can have that expectation, in advance, and there's no like increased charge when you get there. So yeah, I think that's critical. That transparency is critical. That understanding is critical, and that is what has made us successful.
Yeah. Yes. And it will continue to make you successful.
Thank you. Thank.
Um, Because that's how you win. How you make the customer feel, the experience that they receive is how they're gonna be able to trust you. Want to use you. Many times we think it's about the price, No one's gonna pay what I wanna charge. Like, you know, people just want a cheaper service. And yeah, there's a lot of people that do, but
And
there's
that's
also
okay.
yeah, and that's fine, right? Like you
Yeah.
said, there's thousands of cleaning companies in your area, like, there's hundreds in mine, and that's exactly the same way that how I train my team. It's like, "Hey," and especially in the beginning to my new sales team, it's like, "Hey, just know that, like, you're gonna get a lot of people wanting the cheaper price."
Yep.
I don't want that to discourage you. I want you to still service them and educate them and let them know like, "Hey, like, that's fine, like, we might not be a good match, but
Mhm.
I would really suggest to hire someone that is licensed and insured."
Right,
That's gonna
right.
give you peace of mind, and, like, if you still wanna know more information and you still wanna possibly get in our schedule, we're really busy. We get booked about 2 weeks in advance, so if you wanna get in our schedule, give us a call back, but make sure you hire someone that is licensed and insured, like, that is always our ending to every call, and,
Yeah.
like, people will come back, they'll be like, "Oh my god, like, I went to the route," or, like, "I called you guys, can I still use the same quote, that I got?" So,
So true, so true.
like, as long as we're here to provide it's still an experience,
Mhm.
right? Like, we gave them an experience of maybe we're not a good match right now, but these are the things that we would suggest for you to look out for because we still care for you, right?
Yep,
And, like, they'll figure it out. Like, I mean, we've had a lot of past customers come back,
yep,
and it's because of that. Like, they truly wanted to go with somewhere else where they can probably find a cheaper price, but, like,
yeah.
they just knew that, like, $50 more wasn't going to, know?
Yeah, it's not gonna kill them, and they learn that you get what you pay for. So, yeah, you got a cheaper service, but it probably didn't include dusting or something, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't include all the bathrooms. Maybe that only came with 1 bathroom or something like that. So, yeah, they do learn and they figure it out, and they definitely come back, and they'll say, "I hired another clean, and I wasn't happy with it, so
Yeah. Yeah. Or even a
come back."
company that understands. Because one of the biggest things that I've heard of is, like, there's companies that are like, "Well, the business owner or the office people were rude, and they didn't want to make things right, and now they feel like they got taken advantage of," and so on and so forth, and, I tell my team, like, if we don't educate them, if we don't either if we don't bring them on our schedule or we don't educate them, we're giving them a disservice.
Yeah,
Chances are, it's just what it is. There's a lot of mom and pop businesses out there. There's a lot of people that don't have the leadership skills to be able to train their team or have empathy or have understanding of their customers. And a lot of people get mistreated.
yeah.
Oh, and it's like when you choose us, you get a 24-hour we have a 24-hour call center. We'll be able Our team's gonna reach back out to you. We have the same policy as you guys. Like, well, for us, it's 24 hours. So you have 24 hours to give us a call back. If something didn't go right, we'll make it right.
I need to
Like,
make mine 20 hours.
it's 24 hours. Like,
Yeah, I need to
72
update
hours is
that.
way too long.
I know, we definitely have some policies that are just way too nice, and I need to strengthen those up.
24 hours, if we didn't do something right, give us a call back. Like, we'll make it right, you
Yeah.
know? And just a little tip, I don't know how you guys like fix your previous services, but like, or services that for quality control, but we have a field supervisor that I hired specifically just to just to do quality control, go
I
out
love that.
there and he fixes them. So, like, hey, they didn't clean my floor right. Okay, not a problem. We'll go over there, we'll go back and we'll make it right. And he's the one that fixes all those
Oh,
things,
that's awesome.
and he also does our in-person estimates. So
Okay.
he does for our commercial, for our residential. For those that like bring up red flags, because we do
Mm,
book about 70% over the phone, but everything else is like, well, this client brought a couple of red flags. They haven't had a they haven't maintained their house. They haven't, had a professional cleaning in the past. So those are the people that we do
and for
in-person estimate, but it's always good to have, if you can, be able to have someone available just to figure out quality control things. They can also buy all the materials for you. They stock all of the materials for my teams, make sure, all of those back end little things. They do the
yeah,
purchases,
important.
do the, and it's been super, super helpful. Like, oh my goodness, it's been amazing. So,
That's awesome, I love that. That's definitely a goal of mine. I need to find the money in our budget to bring on that type of person, but that is awesome.
and you just hire within. I mean,
Yeah,
someone that's been a good cleaner,
ready.
or maybe not even because you definitely don't want to get rid of your good cleaners, but someone that's maybe reliable and they can do a good cleaning.
Right,
They
right.
have that responsibility of being able. I think the most important is like talking to customers, having that customer experience. It truly, truly helps. I mean, we've saved so many one-time cleanings of people being disappointed about the floor or the
Mhm.
dusting, and then we've turned them into memberships. So I also give them the tools to be like, "Hey, when you're there, if you get a membership, like, this is your bonus structure for that." And he's gotten so many membership deals just because, and memberships for us is reoccurring services from just bringing a client from being upset about something, saying it's like, "Oh, we're here." We're here. Like, that's part of the
Attitude.
service that you hired us for, is to make things right, because 'cause we're not perfect cleaners. Like, if you wanted a perfect cleaner, we were not the one. And, we definitely say that as well in our qualified question is like, if you're looking for a perfect cleaner, like, that's not us.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
will make mistakes, but the thing is that we have our satisfaction guarantee, our make it right, and we will make it right.
yeah.
So it's all about the customer experience, right? And anything that you want to add to that, because I know that customer experience to you is very, very important. Anything else that like maybe someone that is maybe not struggling, but doesn't understand the importance of customer experience? Like, is there anything else? And it's not, I'm sure everybody understands
Yeah.
the importance of customer experience, right? I guess, like, what is anything else that you would add to what we were just talking about that will help someone else? If you're getting value out of this episode, hit subscribe and send it to another cleaning business owner who needs it. Now let's get back into it.
Yeah, so you had mentioned earlier, like I kind of move in a way, like I consider myself my target audience. So I want to treat my customers the same way I want to get treated when I use a service. If I go to a store, if I buy something online, like how I interact with that company, the same way I want to feel like understood and heard. Like I want to make sure I give my customers that same feeling. So it's like I'll have conversations with customers and it's like the customer may be in the wrong. However, I'm going to explain to them, but I'm also going to give them a solution that will make them feel good about us. So, I tell my cleaners all the time, like, you can do a fantastic cleaning job, but if you do something like break something and don't tell the customer, it completely negates the whole cleaning experience that they have. It's like, I'll have like a very angry customer on the phone and I'll kind of talk to them and then kind of have come up with a solution that they are happy with. We're so sorry this happens. We'd be happy to reimburse you for this product. If you could send us a link or a receipt, I can refund it back to your card right away. So
Mhm.
now it's just like, okay, they've calmed down because they're not as upset anymore about this item was broken because they know I'm gonna take care of it. So it's like I try to come up with solutions that makes them feel happy with the end result. Like a lot of companies are just dismissive. They're like, well, like that's it. Or you can't even reach anyone if something goes wrong. Like your correspondence goes into a black hole. But it's like I'll have that follow up with them. Hey, can I call you after business hours? Do you have a couple minutes? And I'll have a conversation with them on the phone and say, go over. I'll sometimes even explain how we work because sometimes they don't fully understand, how certain things may have happened. So I'll explain the process and they have a better understanding. They always say, oh, I'm so glad that we had this conversation. And then they come back because they got that human personal touch where they didn't have to deal with like an automated bot or something or a machine or something. I made sure to come up with a solution that's going to make them happy and it's going to make them return to us. So like I said, like I treat because I'm my ideal customer, I treat my customers how I want to be treated. And that, like I said, they are sometimes in the wrong, but I'm still gonna make them feel like we're coming up with a solution together. And they're happy about that, and they'll come back even despite what may have happened during their first cleaning.
Fire right there. Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
I love it. Like, it makes me feel good because it creates like a family connection, like, you're family, and I wanna make sure you feel good about using our services. So it continues building that trust with them, and they feel like they can trust us, and we're not just like some company like Amazon where it's like, "Okay, sure, here's a refund," kinda thing. Like, no, I wanna talk to you, I want you to understand how we work, I want you to understand how our business, works and come up with a solution that's gonna make everybody happy.
Yeah, yeah. That $100 item is not worth thousands from getting from that customer
Yep.
in the time that they're with you, right? It's not worth it. Just make it right, and they'll love you for
They'll
it.
love you forever.
Right. And if you are getting a lot of broken items, then it's a part of your system that needs to be fixed so that that
Yeah,
doesn't happen, right? Like, you don't always wanna be in that position of paying for things, but I
yeah.
love the fact of, like, we will make it right no matter what, and they love that. Like, they feel understood, they feel heard. If someone comes to your house and breaks something and the company never says anything about it,
Yeah,
you're like, "Damn, like, they didn't even tell me that they broke my cup?"
right.
I don't even care about the cup, but they didn't even tell me about it. So, yeah, it works right there. I mean, my landscapers, they broke a couple things and, like, they didn't even let me know, and I'm just like, "Damn, come on, guys, like, just I don't care about the pot,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah, just say something.
Just say something." It really goes a long way.
Yep.
Uh, Now, I really wanna highlight the leadership as well, the leadership part with you. Like, what's the biggest lessons you've learned as a leader?
The biggest lessons I've learned as a leader, I touched on this briefly, is that it's really your responsibility to keep your team happy. If you don't have a happy team, it's going to be a miserable environment for everyone. And it's like, I even try to tell my customers sometimes, like, these constant rescheduling and cancellations is going to prevent me from being able to staff the job because now I'm in a situation where none of my cleaners want to deal with you. Like, I wouldn't say that to the customer, but that's the situation. It's like the cleaner will be like, nope, I'm not doing her because I know that she cancels last minute kind of thing. So keeping my staff happy was not that it was something I wasn't aware that I had to do, but just really making sure everyone feels supported. I feel like I have to over explain myself to them because sometimes they take things personally and it's like I have to, explain the business aspect for them to get it. I'm just not being dismissive and being like, this is business kind of thing. But I do try to explain stuff to them and how things work. Just like overall, just making sure that the same how I focus on making sure my customer experience is excellent, I make sure my staff experience is excellent. And that's why all of our cleaners, with exception to maybe like three of them, have been with us for over 3 years. And they're still continuing to work with us. So I'm like, I assume they like it here. But just having to like constantly I used to be a kind of person where I'm like, I hate repeating myself, right? But have learned as a leader, you're going to have to repeat yourself, and maybe you can implement some incentives or penalties to reduce the amount of you repeating yourself, but that is part of the job. So it's like, I may have to reiterate the same policies at least once a month. Like every month I'll come out with like a list of friendly reminders, send your ETA, at least 30 minutes before the window. If something is damaged when you arrive, make sure you take a picture of it because if the customer comes back and accuses you of it, we have proof that it was like that already. Like those type of like reminders that they just forget a lot of times. So just making sure that like I don't get burnt out and just understanding like this is part of managing staff, but also part of keeping them happy. So like I said, feeling supported. Things come up. I get it. People have car problems, people have financial issues. It's just why I try to have like a plan B and plan C in place. So if something does happen, I'm not going to give them a hard time. They do get charged if they're late or if they do a cancellation within like a certain window, but I still try to be like reasonable with them, especially because they're the one that are doing the manual labor. So yeah, and then my pay, they get paid very well. I can't, I've never been able I've never been one of those people that feels like I need to like not pay my staff to make sure I make all of this money. Like I want to make sure that they can actually pay their bills, that they can actually provide for their family, which again, why our prices are higher and our staff gets paid, good money. Like you can't be happy in a job if you're scraping pennies every week. You know what I mean? Like I just I can't run a business like that. So yeah, just I would say I have grown in my leadership skills in that I realize like figuring out what's important to my cleaners and what they need to be successful and making sure that they have that, making sure that they feel supported. In addition to that, just like making sure I train myself on being a good leader. I remember I took like a business course like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it said like if you have a staffing problem, it's a leadership issue. Like if all your staff is just not doing a good job, that's a leadership issue. Pretty much any problems in your business, it's a leadership issue. So you need to focus on building your leadership skills versus like saying, well, I'm just going to fire this person or I'm just going to hire a new person because the problems are going to repeat itself until you figure out how to be a better leader. And yeah, and I've taken quite a bit of even when I was in my government job, I've taken quite a bit like leadership courses and, how to be a good leader, how to influence, how to get everyone on the same page. So I think I'm pretty strong in that area. But it is something that gets better over time. Like the leader I am today was not the leader I was, year one or year two. This has come with a lot of experience, even situations that I probably used to get upset about before. And now I'm just like, okay. Like, a leader doesn't get bent out of shape about things that could possibly happen. You just figure out a solution and a path forward, and then we're going to keep it moving. So yeah, it's a continuous learning experience, and I enjoy it. Like I enjoy being a leader. I enjoy leading others. I appreciate the fact that my staff likes working for me and likes working here. Even other assistants that I may have had to let go in the past, like, they still try to, like, come back, and I'm like, "Okay, that's kind of like a compliment because that means you really liked working here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge part. It's a huge part of what we do each day. Like, that should be
Yeah.
our main task, right? That should be our number one task as business owners is be the leader for our people.
Yeah.
Encourage them, make sure they have a good work environment.
I mean, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, all of that is super important, and you learn along the way on as you grow how to be a better leader for your people, to motivate them to be with you, and that works with paying them well and caring for them, right?
Yep.
Like just caring for them and
Mhm,
showing
yeah.
empathy, and that's all amazing because leadership is one of the biggest things, and you can't have a successful company if you can't lead people to provide the service or the experience you want them to take on for your clients. So, what keeps you going?
What keeps me going? Well, now it's like, I was telling someone the other day, like now that we have grown to where we are, there's a certain amount of like pressure that comes with like maintaining. We have a certain amount of expenses per month that regardless of what happens, I still got to meet those expenses. So now it's
Yeah.
like I have to make a certain amount of money a month plus more. You know what I mean? If our burn rate is $30,000 and I only make $1,000 this month, like that's a problem. So now it's like I have to keep going. I have to keep growing. You have to keep the business afloat. I can't just sit back, and just let things happen. Like I really have to continue to work hard. I have to continue to think of new ways to build the business, new things to add, new things to bring in revenue, new incentives for customers to keep the customers, happy and satisfied. So I think that keeps me going a lot. Just kind of because this is just owning a business is new to me. Like I still would like to see how far we can possibly go. What is No More Dust Maid Services going to look like 10 years from now? Like, is it going to be a big, enterprise like Mary Maid or something? Will we have cars and uniforms and all types of amazing things, and I'm just the owner now, and I have all of these, branch managers and whatnot. Like, what does our future look like? So I think that excitement keeps me going just to kind of see like what direction we go in. Also, it's just like now I have to make money for myself to live the life that I want to live as well. I travel a lot. I have like other passions that I'm into and other hobbies. So it's like making sure that I can run a successful business that's making impact, with my staff, making impact with the community that we serve, but then also having like the time and finances to like live my life the way I want to as well.
Mm.
So that definitely keeps me going.
Because you're seeing the future.
Yeah,
You're seeing and that is what motivates you to continue
keep
going,
going.
especially when you have a successful business running, you're just like, "Oh my god, what else can I do?" So,
Right.
like, where do you see yourself and your business in the next 3 to 5 years? Like, give us an idea.
Yeah, 3 to 5 years, I definitely know I will have some type of operational manager to run things. I'm hoping that we are heavily active in the government contracting space because that is a more secure like financial, revenue source. I hope that we have expanded services where we're not just a Washington DC based company, that we are in different other major cities. I hope that, maybe some family members of mine could potentially work here. I would love that, like, or just close friends that may need, a different career path later on in life. I would love to be able to pass the company down to younger family members as I get older. I feel like sky's the limit. There's so many ways that we can go, so many directions that we can go in.
You're gonna accomplish all of that.
Thank you.
Everything that you're doing and how you've set up your business and most importantly, your mindset of how you see your business and your customers and how you're leading your people, like, the sky's the limit for you, and I'm really excited to hear about your journey and where you're at in the next year, and
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
one last question I wanna ask, like, how would you encourage the younger you? Like, what would you tell that person?
That's a good one. I would definitely say to like keep going, keep going. Like there's going to be days where you feel like crap and you don't, you're like, why am I even doing this? It's exhausting. That is just a temporary feeling. The long-term, results and rewards are going to be there. They're going to show themselves eventually, and you just gotta keep going to get to that point. Be patient. I would tell my younger self to work hard. Like anything worth having comes with hard work. Like you're not going to be able to just take the easy way out or be lazy about big things. If you want big things, you're going to have to work hard for those big things. I would say to just always continue to tap into like your support system. There's always people trying to help me and always people trying to like connect me with others that they know could use my services. Like tell people about what you do. When you keep quiet to yourself and you're like shy about it, no one can help you if they don't know what you do. So I'm pretty vocal about my business and people are always reaching out to assist. So it's like, utilize your village and support system and be open and vulnerable with people, and they're willing to help you, especially if they see you working very hard.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Well, Poyet, thank you so much for sharing your journey. It's powerful to look back and see how far you've come and the lessons you've learned and how it created you to be the woman that you are today. And
Thank you.
for those that are watching, take a minute to reflect on your own journey. If today's conversation inspired you, share it with another cleaning business owner who needs that spark. Thank you so much.
I
Man. I
love it.
appreciate you very much. And I look forward to talking to you another year, from a year from now and where you
Yeah,
are now.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. If you got value out of this episode and you enjoyed the conversation, share it with another cleaning business owner. It truly helps us grow this podcast. My goal is to bring real conversations from real business owners so that we can grow this community together and help each other out. So if you really like this podcast, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.